there, everyone. Welcome to my weekly messages. I'm Jalela Starr. Today the topic is a higher perspective on schizophrenia. The reason I've chosen this topic today is because in the last couple of weeks I've had more than one client who came to me as a result of being diagnosed as schizophrenic by the medical mental health establishment, when in reality there was more to it than that. And my purpose and the reason the guides called them to the meeting, their guides called them to the meeting, was to help them understand what was really going on so that they could continue their work and continue their training and fulfill their purpose for being here on earth. So let me explain a few things to you first. Most star seeds and walk-ins, I have learned over the last 20 years of counseling them, have come in pre-wired for enhanced psychic ability. Now, this would make sense if they're here on a mission and they need to be able to communicate back to mission control, so to speak. I used to think when I first started that I was the only one pre-wired. In fact, that was a term that was used when I first asked about it. I mean, how am I able to communicate like I do? And I've never had any training. They go, well, you're kind of pre-wired for it. But I found out after a while I wasn't the only one. But the problem is that some of them have more of an advanced ability than others. So let me explain it using the analogy of an internet connection. Some starseeds, and this will depend on their mission and how much they need to be able to communicate to the other side. Some will come in pre-wired to have the speed or capability or capacity of a dial-up connection, which is better than no connection, right? And then there are those who have a DSL level connection. And then there are those who have a cable broadband connection. But then there are the T1 connectors. These are people who have not a DSL, but a trunk level of connection. T1 is a type of internet connection that is used by big corporations who have a large number of computers and need to be able to move a large chunk of data across the internet, back and forth from their corporations. So there are some starseeds who have a T1 connection. And my experience has been that these are the ones who are most able, who are more likely than not labeled schizophrenic. And in some cases, they will end up in a mental institution. And it's very sad that that happens. But let's go back to the case of my latest client. We'll call him Michael, because there's a part of having a T1 type of connection, and Michael certainly had one, that if you don't know how to use it properly can get you into a lot of hot water. In Michael's case, after he awakened, he was not, he could see things on the other side. And it freaked him out because our society doesn't teach us how to handle other realities. I mean, we are firmly indoctrinated from the time we're little that this is the only reality there is, the only life there is, and we are the only beings in the universe. So there are no other realities. Now, even though quantum science, quantum physics has disproven that in more ways than one, the medical establishment still holds to the old belief systems. And, for the most part, a lot of religious society as a whole still holds to that to some degree, especially when it comes to mental things, to our minds. That's a scary area, and we don't like to venture out of the old norm into new arenas because we don't have any education. We don't know what the rules are, for navigating other realms. But that's what, guide communication training is for, is to teach you how to navigate the other realms. But that's a different topic. So let's get back to what we were talking about. Michael, because he was kind of freaked out by all this, because there was no support for him being able to see into the other realms, began to use drugs. In particular, marijuana. Now, marijuana is pretty harmless in and of itself, but if you have a T1 connection, it can be dangerous. So the reason it can be dangerous is because any kind of mind-altering substance, even alcohol, we'll open up the channel, we'll open up the line and actually expand it. And you will actually go, the words that keep coming to me is that kind of blows open the doorway. But the vibration that you're at when you begin the journey to the other side, when you start to connect up, determines where you end up. If you are trying to escape something painful, and for Michael it was a lot of ridicule, it was a lot of fear, it was a lot of guilt or shame, you know, because he was now different from everybody else. This led him to a place that no one ever really wants to go to. And I call it the dark layer. Now, many of you who astral traveled have hit this layer. It's like this dark, murky, icky layer that is almost kind of spongy, and it's really hard to explain. But this layer is the part of the mass consciousness that holds all of the negative emotions, all of the fears that all of humanity expresses on a moment-by-moment basis. All those feelings, just like all of our behaviors and thoughts go into the mass consciousness grid, well, all of our negative stuff goes up there too. All of our crap goes up there too. So this is the crap layer, okay? This is the dark layer. Now, that's bad enough as it is. But all these, you know, entities, what you ever call demons, these entities that have been created as a result of the same thought form being energized over and over and over and over and over, not all of them, but some of them were created that way, feed off this dark layer. So when you end up connecting up and you go right into this dark layer, if you stay there for any length of time, guess who's going to come calling? Some of these beings. This is what happened to Michael. He started hearing voices, and the voices were telling him to kill himself, to harm others, to kill others. And this went on for a while, I mean months, until eventually his family put him in a mental institution. And of course they labeled him schizophrenic and put him on drugs to shut out, you know, to shut the doorway. So Michael took years to reawaken after that. I mean, this was like 6 years ago, and he's now finally reawakening again. But now he's afraid to go out there. He's afraid to connect back up because he doesn't want to go to the same place again, and he wants to know how to avoid that. So when I explained to him that you can't use any kind of recreational drugs, even alcohol, if you have a T1 line and you're trying to communicate, because unless you know how to navigate if you know the protocols, you know how to navigate around the layer, you could very easily end up there. So once I explained this to him and explained to him that his schizophrenia was actually his pre-wiring for his mission, and it was an ability that, because he didn't know how to use it, got misused inadvertently. I mean, it was not intentionally he misused it, but it just did. It helped him to feel better about it, feel better about this ability, and not be afraid to use it anymore. So I'm going to help him with guide communication so he learns how to handle it and more effectively and more efficiently. And I'm sure his guides will be very, very happy. So for all of you out there who have been labeled that, even in joking, I know it's not a joking matter to be told that you're schizophrenic. It hurts. I mean, it's shaming, it's guilty, because that means you're crazy. You're not crazy. You just are pre-wired for something great. So hopefully this will help you if that has happened to you, and you will not let that label stop you from your mission, and you will learn how to use that pre-wiring to get done what you came here to do. So that's it for today, and I hope to see you or talk to you next week. And guys, I'm going to do my Valentine's special where I'm giving you a discount on your counseling sessions. So if you want to talk to your guides, come give me a call. Talk to you later.